Sean's View Entertainment on YouTube.com. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. At the end of the day, I'm not going to come out here and say that I'm going to boycott the WWE or that I'm going to riot at the WWE or that I'm going to talk about the WWE's inconsistencies and how the interest factor isn't there and the decline of the Raw ratings. Although I give my view and my opinion on what I see, what I read, and what I hear because that's what I do and that's what I believe in. But at the end of the day, here is the thing. We can talk about the WWE's problems. We can talk about what's plaguing them. We can talk about what's declining them. We can talk about all the negative things or the things that we want to see as fans. We can talk about how this should be brought back, how that should be brought back, how the WWE has to rely on, the older generation. They have to rely on Attitude Era guys, on the 80s superstars just to pop a rating. They have to feature more of Brock Lesnar. They have to bring Stone Cold and Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels and The Rock back into the picture just to draw a little bit more interest from the fans. And even that isn't bringing the kind of degree of fans back into the picture. Even that, ladies and gentlemen, is not drawing the kind of attention like it did in the Attitude Era, some of the Ruthless Aggression Era. And, everyone can come on here and talk about PG, and we can talk about the creative team. We can talk about Vince McMahon. We can talk about how these plans are even able to go through and be finalized and said, okay, this is what we're going to go through with. But we always hear how the script's always changing, how the WWE's booking on the fly, how they're changing one thing from the next, from one moment to the next minute. Bottom line here is this, from one WWE fan to the WWE Universe, to the WWE fan. Like I said, we can come on here and moan, piss, and complain, but we're going to still watch the show, but we're going to talk about what we liked and what we didn't like. They say, well, if you don't like the show, well, then don't watch. And at one time, that was my mentality, but I'm one of those fans that I'm not going to stop watching. Like I said, I've watched the WWE through the good, the bad, the thick, and the thin. I've watched it in its worst of times, and I've watched it in its greatest of times. But I'm not going to come on here and sit back as a fan and just be force-fed everything. And I know this isn't going to get by. I know this probably isn't going to get the kind of reaction I'm looking for. But there's just one thing, and one thing only I am looking for. Back in the day, and well, I mean, I'm not that I'm that old. I'm not that old. 27 years old. Just turned 27 years old yesterday. But the bottom line is this. This is what I want to see. I'm not talking about a revamp of the creative team. I'm not talking about a rehaul of the WWE. Although that would be nice. And have people in charge and know what the hell they're actually doing and giving us something interesting. But that, like I said, I'm not going to rip that apart. I'm not going to bury that. What I'm going to say is, there was a time for Monday Night Raw, for SmackDown, week by week by week. The WWE gave us a reason to tune in. Why us fans? Why, as fans, should we have to tune in? Why? What's going to draw us in? What's going to be the next chapter? They say that WWE, it's like a book. There's always a next chapter. There's never an ending. There's going to be a beginning. There's going to be a middle. There's going to be an end, but then they go on to the next one. The WWE keeps going on and on. It's like that Energizer bunny. The batteries, they just never end. It's everlasting, and that's great, and that's fine. But when you're just throwing out these matches, rematches, the same boring promos, the same scripts, the same this, the same that. Listen, you talk about repetition. The only thing that I, as a fan, want to see, and I've had many complaints. I have had my complaints, no doubt about it. I've talked about how the WWE could improve and how they could implement these different things. But at the end of the day, even what I say may not get over. Even what I say may not fix the product entirely, because it's going to take more than a couple of months. It's going to take more than a couple of years. There needs to be change. The writing, the booking, the strategy, and everything that goes into it, because there's a lot that goes into it. I understand there's a lot of hard work, and I know a lot of us come on here and we critique the creative team and we bash the creative team, but it's tough, it's hard, it's rough to come up every week with all these hours of programming. But as one WWE fan to every other fan out there that watches WWE, that follows Sean's View Entertainment, that's subscribed to me or that subscribed to the WWE YouTube channel. Like I said, I've come on here and I've ranted and I've raved, I've bitched and I've moaned. But the bottom line here is, all I'm asking is to give us, the fans, a reason to tune in the next week. Because with the way that WWE is doing things now, they are not giving us as fans a reason to tune in. Why is this must-see TV? How is this going to keep our eyes glued to the TV? How is this going to relate to us? I understand WWE's PG. I understand that, you know, a number of the storylines has to relate to kids, and they need to keep it a simplistic formula. They have to work with this formula that gets over to the younger audience, even though there's an audience in me, 18 to 35, that, you know, our time, I guess, has passed as it concerns the storylines that we grew up on, the storylines that we want to see. And make no mistake about it, you know, well, we've seen this angle before. We've seen this storyline play out before, but we're not seeing a lot of storylines happen. And if they do, they're simple, they're to the point, and it's one of those things that, and if they do have a long storyline like Ziggler and Rusev, it's absolutely horrible. It's atrocious. And then Lana came down with an injury. The inconsistencies, but at the end of the day, for Sean's View Entertainment, what I want mostly out of anything, we can talk about the legitimacy and credibility of championships. We can talk about John Cena. We can talk about the horrible booking of Seth Rollins. But all I'm asking for is for Monday Night Raw to give us a reason to tune in and watch next week. Because right now, it's the same song and dance. It's the same repetition. It's the things we've seen before and the things that we don't want to see again. And like I said, there's a lot of things wrong with WWE. WWE's not perfect, but I've been a fan through and through. I've been a fan that has been happy, that has been sad. I've even been a fan on occasions that said, why am I still watching? But I'm still watching because I'm a fan at heart. I am a fan that is dedicated, and I still think that there is room for improvement. And I think the WWE has dropped the ball on many occasions, but I still feel that the WWE is going to once again entertain us. It's time to put the E back in WWE to give us a reason to be entertained and to watch as a fan. Everyone comes on here and talks about how the WWE could improve. We all come on here and talk about why the WWE needs to improve, and whether or not they're listening to us, whether or not they think we're jokes, whether or not they're laughing at us, saying that we're not in the business, we don't know how to run things, we don't know what we're talking about. Well, you know what comes down to it is, I'm asking for one simple thing. Give us a reason to tune in. Give us a reason to make it must-see TV. Why? Why? And even after the last couple of Raws, why should we tune in? We're seeing Kane in the main event, the main attraction. Kane in the main event in 2015. Albeit, I thought it was a good Raw. I thought it was a solid Raw. But when the failure to build up other superstars and put trust in other superstars and take those chances. Once again, I'm not going to talk about all that. I'm just bringing it up. I'm just bringing it up. I just want a reason to tune in, and to a point where if I miss Raw, I would be mad. If I miss Monday Night Raw, I would be absolutely going nuts and crazy. I miss Raw. Back in the day, that's how it was. If I missed one episode of Raw, I flipped out. Nowadays, if I miss Monday Night Raw, yeah, you can DVR it, but who's going to sit through a 3-hour Monday Night Raw? Give us a reason to sit through a Monday Night Raw where we're just like, oh, we're sitting through it, and so we don't have to fall asleep. So we don't have to go up and take a piss break every few minutes, or go and get a drink and eat food and chat with friends and do more texting than watching Raw. Why should we pay attention to the product? And once again, I'm not coming on here because I hate the WWE. I love the WWE. I feel like I'm an extended member of their family because I've been watching for so long, ever since I was a little child, 3-4 years old, watching WWE. Even though I may have not understood what was going on, I understood what the WWE was trying to do years and years later. And I understand, like I said, it's not easy, it's very tough, it's very rough. And these matches, I understand the matches, I love the matches, I love the athleticism, I love the competition. But you need storylines, you need originality, you need to think outside the box, and you need to give us fans a reason to watch the next week. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Just give us a reason to tune in next week, because if we're going to tune in the next week, we know what to expect. Rematch after rematch, a Seth Rollins promo, the same thing. It's time for change. It is literally time to shake things up, literally and figuratively. The way the show's written, the format, the layout needs to change. Just need change. That's it. That's it. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to cry. I'm just giving my thoughts, my opinions, and the one thing that needs to change. Just like you watch a soap opera, Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, whatever show's on these days, whatever soap opera, Teen Mom. They give you a reason to tune in next week. That's all I want. Subscribe.